To throw, pumps, now throws left side, intended for Sasser in the end zone. And back to the end zone, makes the reception. Touchdown, Missouri at the back pylon. Bud Sasser with the catch.
That's how it sounded Saturday on the Big 550 KTRS. The final score, the Tigers beat the Vanderbilt Commodores 24-14, and a little too close for comfort, but the Tigers come away with the victory. And a happy homecoming was had by all, including the voice of the Tigers, Mike Kelly. Good morning, Mike Kelly.
Much pomp and circumstance was enjoyed on Saturday.
Yes, certainly understandable. A little too close for comfort, though, towards the end, right?
Yeah, well, it was one of those games that Missouri's found itself in a few times this year, and that is, a game that your defense keeps giving you the ball, and can your offense find a way to score? And they did in the second half, and I believe they took a step in the right direction offensively from a couple of different standpoints. They ran the football, pretty good, but more importantly, they didn't turn the ball over. Matty Mock threw a couple of touchdown passes, and so you just see from this point forward what happens, because they just have to continue to prove, really in all phases, but obviously in particular on the offensive side.
I mean, their offense has sort of struggled the last couple of weeks, and while they're still winning, and I don't want to call it winning ugly, but they're winning in interesting ways, not putting away a team like Vandy. They probably should, and they scored every other way against the Florida team. A freshman or a first-year quarterback, a new offense. I mean, is he progressing the way he should, Mike Kelly?
Well, I think I honestly believe it's offensive football is all different areas of offensive football. So it's not only just the quarterback, it's the running backs doing their job, it's the offensive line, it's the wide receivers. And here's what's happening. At times, offensively, you're having breakdowns up front in the offensive line. I thought they were better, though, on Saturday to a degree. Your receivers have got to make plays for you. Matty Mock delivered a terrific ball on a third down to Sean Culkin on a crossing pattern, and his tight end dropped the football. You can't do that. You got to make the play. He's had trouble. His receivers have had trouble getting open. And what's going on there is that you've got one guy that I think is two guys that are veterans, and Jimmy Hunt and Bud Sasser. And Bud Sasser's made some plays, as he did in the highlight you just played before I came on. But you've got other guys that just have not been able to help the quarterback by gaining separation from the receivers. Jimmy Hunt made a nice reception, on a drive in the third quarter. His receivers have got to do a better job, and I think you're going to start seeing him lean on some of the younger players a little bit more, trying to see if a guy like a Nate Brown or a Lawrence Lee or maybe even a Jamon Moore can make something happen, because Matty is, excuse me, he's plagued right now by the fact that he doesn't have the receiving core that he had a year ago. Guys like, Green Beckham, our LaDamian Washington, our Marcus Lucas could make plays for you by just basically being more physical than the defensive back, or just going up and catching the throw. And that's not happening right now. And so I think that's part of the problem with the offense. And I think the other thing you're going to start seeing, too, is commit a little bit more to the run, maybe using three tight ends in blocking situations, and just trying to, do what you do best.
I also think we need to put it into a little bit of a perspective here. They're 2/3 of the way through an SEC schedule, and they're 6-2. So I mean, it's and second in the East Division. I mean, that's a couple of years ago, we Tiger fans would have begged for something like that.
Well, and bowl eligible for the 10th time in 14 years.
Right.
So, but you want more, right? You get spoiled. You win the SEC East last year, you want to win it again this year, and guess what? They're still alive. Mm-hmm. And the schedule is favorable. The fact that, Kentucky that comes to town this week is going to be, people may not be able to realize that that's going to be a tough game. I mean, Kentucky's 5-3. They've got a very opportunistic defense that's got 13 interceptions on the season. And so, you're going to have to play really, really well to beat this team this week. They took number one, into the fourth quarter in Lexington this past weekend. So, but then, you got a bye week, and then you get two games on the road at Texas A&M, at Tennessee, and then you come home to take on, Arkansas on Black Friday. So there's some opportunities there. You're still very much alive. You just have to continue to get better.
Yeah, that is Mike Kelly, voice of the Tigers. We'll talk more about Kentucky on Saturday. You get yourself a good week of rest, save your voice, and we'll talk to you on Friday. Mike Kelly.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. Bye.
You got it. Mike Kelly, voice of the Tigers here every Monday and Friday. We recap and preview and all that. Voice of the Tigers here. Big 5.